What's happening in Brighton? The short answer is a lot. The long answer is this podcast. What's Up Brighton is a show dedicated to the community we all love.
Hosted by Roger Burnett, Eric Meldrum, and Coach Mark Howell, this podcast will feature news, issues, and discussions impacting Livingston County and celebrate the people who make our slice of Michigan go and grow. This is What's Up Brighton.
On Main Street, we have the bank building, which is mixed-use development. We got retail.
I see the wall. I see the wall up.
The wall's up.
It's exciting.
Yep. Over off of Chalice and Grand River, we have the MSU
Nightmare.
Federal Credit Union.
Oh.
Is there something else going on over there?
No, I was just thinking of the roundabout, just the nightmare of traffic right now.
That's coming.
Q symbol clap, credit union.
You're right. And then here's one we can kind of dive into.
Yes.
And, poke fun. The car wash in front of Meyer.
The Mexican car wash.
The L car wash.
L car wash.
Dude,
we'll save that one for like 3
we
or
have
4.
to say though, because that one's gonna okay, first of all, they're gonna put every car wash out of business because everyone's gonna think that's so awesome that they embraced the Mexican car wash and they're like, what?
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, holy shit! Like Brighton is gonna flip their fucking.
I
gasket.
love it. I fucking love it. I'm like, that is hilarious.
This is the open, just so you know. This is the open.
I love that they embraced it. They're like, oh, you guys want Mexican? Oh, you guys want car washes? We'll double the fuck down.
What's up, Brighton? Wow. This one's going to be fun. My name's Roger. Over there is Eric. And over here around third base is Coach Mark.
What's up?
And car washes. Let's just start.
Car washes, Mexican restaurants, and what's happening?
Credit
Brighton?
unions.
What's up, Brighton?
What's up, Brighton? There's lots of. Have you ever heard the term perpetuating the stereotype?
Oh yeah.
This is the buildings that are going up in this town are so perpetuating the stereotypes.
I
They're
love it.
all in the categories. And I love on the page how there's a contingent of people who are just so over the joke. They want nothing more to do with
They're so over,
the joke.
but there's also people that are just like leaning into
Leaning
every
hard
chance they
into
get.
it.
Like,
Every
oh yeah,
opportunity.
it's gonna be a Mexican the Mexican fiesta. Like
Love it.
And I think the page somehow manifested a car wash into being
Oh my
L
God,
car
yes.
wash.
Yeah.
Because there we have it. There it is. We made it happen, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all of you out there for putting out the energy into the universe that would suggest that the end result would be L car wash.
We're visionaries.
Yeah.
Really.
So for those of you who are just catching up on what we're talking about, the car wash in front of Meyer, the name of it. I found out. What I do? I texted you guys, right?
Yes.
I literally
Oh, yeah.
scanned the picture and I texted you guys. And the name of the car wash, which is so funny and ironic, is L Car Wash.
I mean, it's epic.
Literally L Car Wash. Like we have had this running joke that there's either car washes, banks, or Mexican restaurants going in.
Oh my
and
God.
now the car wash, which was actually started way before all of this stuff happened. I looked it up. I looked up the name of the business that bought the property to develop this.
Okay.
And they were always registered as El Car Wash.
There it was.
I mean,
Literally always
hiding
registered.
They were ahead of the
plain sight.
trend. Trend setters.
Hiding in plain sight too, just waiting to
God.
launch.
Yeah, and everyone
Couldn't wait.
I bet you it's going to be a Mexican car wash. Like, lo and behold, it
Oh,
is a Mexican
the joke's
car wash.
on you.
Like, joke's on Brighton, dude. Yeah, joke's on Brighton. So
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
great.
I wanted to start with that. I thought it'd be fun today to kind of just do like a roundup of like what's happening around town.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of commercial development. We've got a lot of residential developments. Seems like just a lot of dirt's moving, right?
Mhm.
And that seems to
Absolutely.
be always the big question of like, when we see posts in the group, it's like, hey, what's happening at Grand River in 23, or what's happening
There's a lot of those.
over here?
Yeah.
So we wanted to use this opportunity because we have a pulse on it. We're going to continue to have a pulse on what's going on in the community. So, first base was El Car Wash. Absolutely
Fantastic.
hilarious. Well, we'll circle back to that. Mark's got like 15 jokes he wants to get out after that.
Practically bouncing in his chair right now.
Exactly. So we're just going to kind of go through location, development, and if we miss anything that you guys know about, drop those in the comments. Love to hear about if something that we haven't covered or we don't know about, is coming to life in pre-development or actually in construction right now. So Grand River Old 23, that was one that some dirt started moving. They have a building being built, and that is going to be a people and pet pharmacy. and Old 23.
That's wild.
That was the old state police building there.
Way
And
old.
Way old.
I barely remember those days.
Yep. And then I
Way
was
back.
transitioned into, I think, a real estate office for a period of time, but that's gone now. They are almost done with laying the foundation. So they have some steel beams out there. They're going to start going vertical and closing the place.
So what is a people and pet pharmacy? Like, what's the difference between like CVS pharmacy and a people and pet? Like, can I get a prescription at CVS? I have no idea.
That's a great question.
Oh, I don't know. I was hoping somebody knew the answer. I have no idea.
I think a lot more of these like local pharmacies are popping up because of did you guys hear Rite Aid closed like a lot of their locations?
Did they?
Yeah, they closed a ton of the locations. They had a wave of people go over to Walgreens, which was like when they made the transition, Rite Aid was like, we're just sending all of our scripts to Walgreens. Like that's it. We're done. We're sending them all. So it was kind of funny, but I think it's exactly in the name, like people and pet pharmacy. I don't know.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah, people and pet pharmacy. Like,
okay.
I don't think it's anything different. So
Make it very clear.
We'll see.
Traditionally, your veterinarian prescriptions need to be picked up at the vet itself.
Okay.
And there's thought that maybe the veterinarians do some markup on the prescriptions.
No.
I'm
So
not a pet owner, so I don't know. I'm not in the world.
By eliminating that step.
Eric hates pets. That's what I heard. Eric hates animals.
Our girls keep asking for dogs. I'm like, absolutely not.
Like, no, I kick dogs, kids. No.
Yeah, we're not having dogs.
Why do you hate your children?
Yeah.
I don't hate my children.
Eric hates dogs.
I don't want another responsibility.
He hates kids. I mean, what's next?
I don't want another
He
responsibility.
hates old ladies.
Outside of
All
my
the
children.
things.
Yeah.
He's basically a curmudgeon. Whoever
Oh my
knew?
gosh.
It's unbelievable.
El
Grinch.
car wash, more like El Grinch.
El
Yeah.
Grincho. Bring it on.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is a Friday.
What
Woo!
else do we got?
All right.
Development.
So rounding second base here. Let's move over to Main Street because lots happening on Main Street.
Mhm.
The bank building's going up, and that is the bank building. For anybody who doesn't know, is right between Chalmichi's and Wentworth Real Estate, right there.
Yep.
An old
So
empty lot.
That's going to be a 3-story development. They have a retail on the main level. They're going to have some commercial office space on the second level. And then they're looking for a flagship kind of restaurant to put on the top level. So they kind of have like a terrace, kind of rooftop dining, which would be really cool. I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for restaurants. So if anybody knows
Cool view.
of anybody, definitely send those.
And is that where
pressing.
is Fifth Third going in there somewhere? Is that in the commercial space or?
They'll be on the bottom floor in the retail. So they'll actually have, I believe they're going to try to have a drive-through.
On the back.
On the back side
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
But there will be just other developments. I think there's going to be at least 4 or 5 retail spots on Main Street. So it's opening up a lot more, space that wasn't there already.
Cool. I see that wall's up. So it's just exciting to see new stuff going up for sure.
It's, again, half the community is excited, half the community is horrified. And then the parking garage will go where the existing Fifth Third building is, but directly to the one side of where that will ultimately go once the Fifth Third building comes down. That's also being built into a mixed-use development. The parcel right there, if you look at the rendering that's on the fence, these 2 buildings, when they're done, are going to transform downtown as far as what things look like.
Sure.
And what's going to be really interesting to me is, does it then become the tipping point that then everybody else is like, oh my God, look how great those 2 buildings look. We probably should do something. But here's the one that I wanted to touch on. If you're going through town and you approach the roundabout that's just past the railroad tracks, on the right-hand side there, on the north side of the street, they have that beautiful home on the roundabout that they've refashioned now into its newest version.
The house is beautiful.
2,500 square feet. You want to know how much they're asking for that?
How much? I was wondering.
$1.2 million.
Yeah. It's on a nice piece of property
just
too.
Shy. 1.15.
Sorry.
1.15.
Okay, but here's the thing. If that building sells anywhere near that number, watch out downtown Brighton. Because now what's really historically been the tipping point that's kept our bedroom community in the city of Brighton proper is that you can't build a pop-up building and have it be something that people would spend that kind of money on. the minute people start spending that kind of money, the race is on.
I've said this
Yeah.
for a while. Like if you look at cities, surrounding cities, Milford, Plymouth. Well, Milford's kind of like on the same trajectory, but they still do have some expensive real. I would say more so Plymouth, Northville.
Okay.
You know, when you have the downtown area who's being developed, and you can knock down a little cottage house or a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then build basically 2-year setbacks. I mean, these wide homes that just go vertical. That's the tipping point. Brighton hasn't seen any of that. So I said the same thing when that development came on right in the roundabout. Does it fit the downtown price point? No, absolutely not. There's been nothing of that size or value, you know, in downtown. And it's gonna be a tough sell right in the roundabout.
Agreed.
You know, right there.
Next to the train tracks.
Right next to the train tracks. So, you know, it's a beautiful home.
Beautiful.
Right?
It is
But
beautiful.
what that's really doing is anchoring, to your point, can Brighton really command that much? And I know it's coming.
Yep.
Right. And I know it's coming. It's just going to take the right development, the right style homes to come in here. It's going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. It's just a matter of when, how much, how are we going to ease into it? Is the right development right now between like 700-800? Is it really approaching $1 million? Because you go down the road into Pine Creek and you can get that same house just down the street. It's probably a much larger lot.
Huge
It's going to be a much more
difference.
private setting.
Right.
And those homes are starting in there around 1.1, 1.2. You know, there's even some for sale below $1 million. You know, so you gotta weigh those things.
Right.
But you're also in a township.
Right.
When you get into there, you want to be in the city limits. So there's all these little nuances with
Agreed.
it. But I like where your head's at with that, because it's coming, and that's going to be a
Yeah.
good test.
It's the first time we've had a standard bearer to measure against. And everything you just said is 100% correct. So it will be interesting to see what the market does to price in all of those perceived negatives. And once that's established and the number is created, that will, no matter what number it is, it's going to change the way investors think about downtown Brighton. And then we come back to this discussion where we get back to the commercial stuff. Commercial is also going to be pushing this envelope at the same time, because the more attractive and mixed use our downtown becomes, the more desirable the area becomes.
Absolutely. And pointing back to something that is already developed, do you guys remember when the townhomes went in on
Sure.
Mill Pond? Right, those luxury townhomes?
Yeah.
And people said the same thing, like there's no way those are ever going to sell. The price point's way too high. And what happened? They all sold. Right? You know, clearly a demand for that type of real estate. You know, here, go a little bit up 2nd Street, right? You got the 2nd Street condos, right? Kind of the shipping container,
Yeah.
very controversial you know,
Right.
architecture there. And then now there's a couple more developments happening on 2nd Street. And I think 2nd Street is going to be that next phase of expansion in the downtown for mixed use development. I think that's the only appropriate place, you know, we can start going that doesn't have an infringement on like main streets,
Right.
or it's off the beaten path. So I think we're going to see a little bit more migration up into 2nd Street. So you got the big apartment complex that's happening over there. You know, a Vista in Brighton, I think it's
Right.
called,
Right.
which is going to be 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, you know, apartments, you know, luxury apartments, and starting rents are going to be in the 2000s,
That's crazy.
you know, for that. And then there is right there on 2nd and the corner, I always forget the name of that street, but there's another condo complex going in right there. There's about 4 to 6 units. I can't really tell how many. They don't have it listed yet.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so they're just developing them now. So those are going to be kind of garage on the bottom, and then it's vertical up, which you know kind of brings us over into another commercial development, which is a little bit outside of downtown, but it's off of Grand River, just north of Hilton, south of Hacker. It's not on Woodland Lake, but there is a commercial development / residential development, kind of like a live work, which I think is kind of unique for this. So they're going to have some commercial space for lease on the bottom. But if you own the for sale / for rent, if you own it, just like on, you guys know the condos where Lala Twos is and like right there,
Right
those
on
are
Main
commercial.
Street.
Those are commercial spaces with residential on the upper level. So this is kind of going to be the same concept, commercial space, but you can live above, right? And but if you live above, you can rent the commercial space out, which is kind of unique. So they have those developments going in.
Where's that one going in?
Just north of Hilton, on the east side of Grand River, between Woodland Lake and Grand River.
Bro, it's right up against the freeway.
Is it?
No, a little bit further up.
They have that residential development that's right there also. That is
Yeah.
on the freeway side.
Okay.
Like where Duncan Chiropractic and OptiShot are on that. So the off ramp is right there, and they build a residential development. You're living.
Pretty wild.
These are the signs. These are the signs when people will buy places in what are seemingly inconvenient locations. That's when you know you truly have a desirable place to live.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of that too. Those are in high demand because we don't really have a large pool of kind of luxury condos. Right. We've had a pretty big influx of, I would say, housing 20 some years ago, 20 to 25 years ago, where they were building a lot of 3,000 square foot.
Yep. Pulte was here with a force.
Yeah. And you look at, if you just go down Brighton Lake Road and, go in between those subdivisions. I mean, there's some large houses and some really nice houses. Well, all those individuals are coming to empty nest phase, right? Like, hey, we've lived in our home for 30, 40 years. We're looking to stay in Brighton, but we don't necessarily want to give up the amenities that we have. So mark my words, I think that's the only reason we're seeing developments like that. Milford has one too, because they had that same problem. They had a new development go in off of Milford Road, and it was a Del Webb development. It's a 55 plus community, kind of lake community. They have pickleball courts, a clubhouse. These are detached condos, and they are selling out. They're just like flying off the shelf.
It's wild.
Because people are like, oh, I can go down to 2,000 square feet. I have the same amenities plus more, and I don't have to take care of my property. Awesome.
And everything's brand new.
Right. Win-win-win.
Incredible.
Yep. There was another development off of Grand River just to the east, kind of where Brighton Market is.
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of dirt moving over there. There was a senior community, and then they're also building, condo developments over there.
Okay.
Same reason, So that's happening, but
tons of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep rounding the bases here.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. So Chalice and Grand River. Okay, we have a new MSU Federal Credit Union coming. Can't even get the federal out.
Go green.
Yep, Federal Credit Union. So that's in the development phase right now. They've just got all the steel beams up. They're going to start enclosing it. So next is going to come mechanicals and all that stuff. So
pour some liquor for Big Boy. It's officially over.
Right. It's officially over.
Sorry, Big Boy.
My girls actually asked me yesterday, what's a Slim Jim? 'Cause I don't know how Slim Jim got brought up. So I said, well, Slim Jim was a sandwich from a restaurant called Big Boys. And they go, what's Big Boys? And I'm like, okay, we're gonna keep going down this rabbit hole. Like, what's the?
Ouch.
They don't know any of that.
Ouch. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Although I will admit, when I hear Slim Jim, I think of Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's right.
Snap it to the Slim Jim.
That's just because you're a savage, Mark.
Are you or a loved one struggling with the effects of stroke? The Oxford Center in Brighton, Michigan offers a cutting-edge alternative stroke treatment that can help stroke victims even years after having a stroke. Our approach combines traditional medicine with evidence-based alternative therapies, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This advanced treatment involves breathing pure oxygen in a specialized environment that can stimulate the growth of new blood vessels and promote healing in the brain. We also offer physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy programs to help patients regain their strength, coordination, and ability to communicate. Time is of the essence when it comes to stroke recovery. Contact the Oxford Center today at 248-486-3636 or visit our website at theoxfordcenter.com to learn more about our alternative stroke treatment options, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's 248-486-3636 or visit theoxfordcenter.com.
All right. Well, where do you guys want to go next? We can go. Let's head south into Green Oak Township. Lots happening down there. So Green Oak Fire Department has a new fire station being built right next to the new police station.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, it was
In the misery of all of that dirt being moved over
There's
there.
a lot. Yeah.
There's
There's a lot going on there.
Oh, by the way, here's your new fire station.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
They started on that well before the roundabouts.
Yeah.
Right. So the Silver Lake roundabouts are also being, transformed. That whole intersection is
gonna be wild.
coming together. I did see a car driving the wrong way in the roundabouts
Oh,
yesterday.
great.
I'm like, that's awesome. And I looked in the window. I'm like, it was like a 90-year-old guy. I'm like, you probably shouldn't be driving anyways. Like, what are you
100%.
doing out here?
Yeah.
So that's happening. So they got
He was driving a Jeep also.
the new fire station. He was not. It was a sedan. The new Green Oak Fire Station that's on Whitmore Lake and Silver Lake. And then they have the roundabouts happening. And then in pre-development over there, there is a builder that is supposed to be coming and developing the land. They already have the plans in. That's going to be about 600 to 700 new doors going in just south of Legacy Center. over there.
Oh, interesting.
And if you've been out that way, there's Green Oak Crossing, which was an MI development. Lombardo was actually back there as well. Mitch Harris has a development, High Hill Arbors over there. So a lot of construction has been happening over there anyways.
Yeah.
And now just to the east of that, they're going to be developing a lot of that farmland. That's going to be another 600 homes. So
that's crazy. Is that still considered Brighton, or is that?
It's Brighton, Green Oak Township. The back half of Green Oak Crossing is actually Whitmore Lake Schools.
Oh, okay.
So it's Brighton, but Whitmore Lake Schools.
Okay.
So they did that on purpose. They put a lot of the
School of choice to Brighton kids.
School of choice. They put a lot of like the smaller ranch style homes back there because they figured people who are looking for those smaller ranch style homes aren't necessarily going to be caring about the schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that was kind of fitting because that development, they've already known about that. It's been in the works and they've submitted plans for it for years. And I think they're going to start 2025, developing that. So they're like, okay, if we're going to have all this development, we need a new fire department. Like we need a new fire station over here. They built the police station, town halls, right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So all that's being developed.
That's really cool.
Scary and cool to see at the same time because that's going to get a lot busier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that intersection before, like that whole off ramp, on ramp, that was a nightmare.
Oh,
That's Silver
worst.
Lake. So I mean, the roundabout that's going to help tremendously. I mean, just from the end of work traffic, just trying to get to practice at Legacy was brutal, and so that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and
that'll be really good.
Then they did the one at Rickett too.
Yep.
That roundabout.
Yeah, and that was huge.
Yeah, it just keeps things flowing.
It does.
I'm personally a fan of the roundabouts.
I'm a fan. At first, I was like, "These are ridiculous," and I've changed over. I've changed over a new leaf. Yeah,
It's provocative. It keeps people moving.
It does. It does.
Keeps people moving. What else did we talk about?
Dude, the M59 corridor also is chock full of development right now.
Is it?
Oh,
maybe it made it
my
up too.
goodness.
I never really
the
pay
heartland.
attention.
Yeah, it's as someone who bought their first home in the M59 corridor, then to now, which granted that was 1997, but there was a stretch where there were foundations being filled in by Pulte in the 08 kind of Great Recession. That corridor had always sort of been primed for the big developers to come in because, it's farmland and it's exactly what they love to do. But then it ground to a halt. Go up there now. It's like how it was in the heyday. There's stuff going in everywhere you turn along that 59 corridor. So I actually was joking to the people in the car. I said, on the Brighton, Michigan happenings page, everyone's sort of complaining about where all of this is happening. And I kept saying to myself, well, where is it? Found it. It's up there. Holy cow. Like out of control growth going on in that corridor for sure.
So I remember, this is dating back to when I was like 11, 12 years old. I used to come out to
It was like 50 years ago.
it's like 50.
That's a millennium.
That freaking old.
Millennia ago. My goodness. Says the older guy.
Back in my day. But when I was like 12, 13, we would come out to Long Lake. My friend had a cottage on Long Lake. They've since torn that down and built their beautiful home out there. But there was nothing. Literally absolutely nothing on that M59. The cool stuff was Heartland Pizza Company.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
Okay, so we used to ride our bikes through the woods from Long Lake onto M59. We could get back there, and we would go up there. You get a basket of like these really thick, buttery Parmesan,
Sold.
breadsticks, dude. They're so freaking good.
Here, kids.
And
here's 3 pounds of dough.
I'm in.
And guess how much they were? Guess how much a big basket?
99 cents.
Yeah, it's like $1.
Boom.
That's amazing.
I'm like,
The good old
sold.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good old days. The good old days. You know, things ain't the way they used to be.
No,
But-
they're not.
What we recognize now is, as we continue to tell you, the neighborhood's growing.
Yeah.
All you got to do is
Settle
look
up.
around, and it's inevitable that the more the growth occurs, the more service businesses will need to come into the space in order to take care of all of us. Second Street seems to be, we should make like let's mark it for a year. And let's go do a live remote 1 year from now on Second Street. And,
Yeah, right.
see what's up. Like,
Picture now, picture later.
yeah, well, or
Yeah.
like, could we do time-lapse photography for the next 12 months of what Second Street looks like? Because I think you're hitting it right on the head.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue to keep you updated.
For
you know,
sure.
on
Yeah.
it. We'll report on it,
Interesting.
as things develop. I think that's a really prime location for the next phase of development. And I have a lot of conversations with people that are in the commercial residential real estate, and the questions that I get lead me to a lot of these conclusions, like making the conclusion that Second Street is, and there's a pretty big developer in the area. I won't name who it is, but one of their commercial brokers actually said, like, hey, if you know of any houses coming for sale on Second Street, let me know. We'll buy those immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So we know that they're landlocking that for future development. They'll get it rezoned. It'll happen. I mean, right behind those houses is all industrial. So there's no problem getting it zoned commercial. It's not like, city's like, we're going to preserve the resident. Like, they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. I mean, that's the next logical space where we're going to see a lot more retail / residential commercial space be developed.
Whatever happened to the old Limbaum building and that whole
Gone.
spirit? I knew they tore it down. Are they doing anything back there?
They have to brownfield it before they can do anything.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
There's all kinds of chemicals in the ground.
Okay.
So they need to, the reason why Limbaum closed was because they found that in the groundwater.
Okay.
So,
Bummer.
but here's the thing. Yet another example of how long did that sit empty?
Oh,
And all of a
forever.
sudden, now it's down, which means somebody was like, I'll take that on because the value of the land
Right.
is enough that I'm willing to put the time and effort into converting that soil back into something that would be buildable.
Yeah. Interesting.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a big giant piece of property right now.
Oh
Just
my
sitting
gosh.
there, right
What-
in downtown, right?
What an amazing opportunity that represents. And again, these are all the signs. Like, these aren't just hints anymore. They're full-blown signs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're paying attention, and most people are paying attention to a certain degree, but if you're listening to this, I'm sure there's at least some people who are going, oh my God, like, I thought it was coming. It's not coming anymore.
it's here.
It's here.
It's here. Yep.
It's here.
And
that-
there's more. There's already more in the works.
So
we
much
had,
more.
We had
Sure.
Matt Vetter on, a couple, it was like a month or two ago by now, and he alluded to it. Like, he couldn't disclose like everything that was happening and what he was, bidding on or
Mhm.
talking about. But there's a lot more.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had the privilege of talking to some of the city council and planning commission, and like there's already plans for 2026 with stuff
That's
that is
wild.
going to get redeveloped.
Mm.
It's happening.
Beautiful. Exciting.
Yep. And then, just rounding out, I think staying downtown, right? We have a new restaurant and brewery down there, the Grand River Brewing Company.
I'm excited for that.
Has officially
I'm
opened.
really excited for
Raise
that.
a-
Cheers to
raise
Grand
a
River.
glass to that
Thank
one.
you.
Cheers, boys.
That place looks like it's going to be awesome.
Let's
Pretty
go-
cool. We're
let's go check
excited.
that out. So Grand River Brewing Company, and this is not the only location they have. They're from Jackson, and
Yep.
they have a couple others on the west side of the state.
Gives us some confidence that they should be able to stick it out.
They should be able to stick it out, and I've heard good things about food. They have some barbecue options. That's not the only option they have, so it kind of fit well with like the old Genopolis, that was there.
An homage of sorts.
Kind of an homage. And I don't know what they did with the downstairs. I'm curious to see. I don't know if they turned it into additional seating, because that was always a private area as long as I can remember. But it'd be nice, like if it gets busy down there, they just start seating people and serving, because there was a bar, and everything down there. So
it's a cool space down there.
Yeah,
it's a really cool space.
Yeah, we had a couple entrepreneur meetups down there, and then a couple real estate conventions down there as well. So it was cool. And then
at the former G Spot down under.
There you go.
G Spot, if you can find it, Mark.
for the
I'm a professional.
For the very smallest amount of time, which was really fitting, really, if you think about it.
So hard to find.
Never seemed to be able to stay there.
Moving on. I can't even transition at this one.
Look, he's blushing. He's actually blushing.
No, the only reason. So we're going into
it's the tequila.
We're going into a bookstore. Like, well, hard stop. Let's move on. Two Dandelions is expanding.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so they took over the Concord mortgage space. So anybody wondering what was happening down there, they've announced it by now. And
I think it's
by
so
the time
cool
this airs, they'll have it open.
That obviously, like in today's world, that their space, I thought they did a really good job with utilizing that smaller space where they're currently at. But for that to obviously be as successful as it was and grow as much as it was, to then warrant expansion, like that's freaking awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was really exciting. And Jerry K. Thomas, one of the two co-owners, is just an amazing human. So I was really excited for her and her partner, and just for them to be expanding that is really cool.
Do you know why?
Why
that there would be a catalyst for a bookstore expansion? Because reading is fundamental.
Okay. Well, I don't do much of that.
Profound.
I don't do much of that.
Well, I mean, it shows like if you can have a bookstore survive in a downtown area, like you got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
Isn't it sort of, if we were going to boil down the essence of downtown Brighton, it's the bookstore.
Yeah.
To me.
It's a big attraction, but I think they did it right. Like
that's why.
I think they did like a lot of like cool events. They bring authors in. They have story time. They have
it's a community space that sells books.
Do you know Myrtle the Turtle?
Of course I know Myrtle the Turtle.
Myrtle the Turtle. Anybody that's been in the bookstore, you obviously know Myrtle. If you
I do not know Myrtle, but I have been to the bookstore.
Mark, go meet Myrtle.
I'm not there a lot.
But it's that community feel, and I think they've done a great job of just kind of embracing anything and everything that they can to bring people downtown, showcase that we're just more than a bookstore. We're here in the community. And Ann Arbor is a comparison. There's a lot of bookstores in Ann Arbor. They do really well because they're a little bit more on the, I would say, high education side of like, there's a lot of people that like reading these obscure things in Ann Arbor. That's not the vibe for Two Dandelions.
I was going to say, we let him talk about Ann Arbor for he was almost over the limit.
It was way over. As soon as he said Ann Arbor, it was over the limit for me.
We're just talking about why our bookstore is amazing. Who cares about Ann Arbor?
Well, it's a comparison of like why can a bookstore survive there, but it's a completely different and they embrace. And I've seen the section for the business section and other
Kama Sutra
sections, like they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, and the kids' books have just expanded.
That's awesome.
Right? So
because reading is fundamental.
Fun being the key.
And we are a family town. And at the end of the day, that's
true.
At the end of the day, we are definitely that. All right. Final thought here. What would be the one business that you would put in?
Oh shit.
In our fair downtown, if given the opportunity at this fine moment?
It's easy for me. I'll go first. So I have a replica of what I would love to bring to Brighton, and it just happened in Fenton. Have you guys heard of the Rail Yard?
I have heard of it. I heard it was awesome.
It's freaking awesome. And I've been saying this for a long time. And I wish Brewery Becker was this style.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because it's so amazing. So the Rail Yard is this old historic building. It's got a lot of character. but they transformed it into this cool hangout for families, and they made it super easy, super casual. There's an arcade upstairs. There's an arcade downstairs. They got old pinball machines. They got the Pac-Man machines like in there. But then they brought in 4 or 5. I think it was. I can't even remember how many. So they have all these different restaurants that are part of the rail yard, but I don't know if they're actually independent, but they just have different cuisine. So they have a smash burger place. They have a Tex-Mex. They have a salad shop in there. They have a pizza place. So you can order whatever you want through the same app. And then all you do for drinks is you go up, you get a bracelet, and they have a whole entire wall of beer. Just scan your bracelet.
Yes.
You pour your draft.
Yes.
Go sit down.
60-ounce max, I heard. So, I don't know. Don't ask me why I know that.
Eternity has a similar tap system now, which this is highly dangerous.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well,
you don't have to wait for someone to bring you your next beer. You can just go get it.
Just go get it. And there's literally,
but it caps you. Really,
zero
does
waste.
cap you.
You ever sit at a bar and the bartender's like pouring and they get the foam out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one kind of like pro and con of this is you go up there and you get charged right when you start pulling tab.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so like if it's foamy,
it's on you, bro.
That's it.
You got to learn.
Like, you. So I
that's a really cool
that's
place.
The only thing
though.
I don't
that
like
sounds
about it.
awesome.
Yeah,
it sounds awesome.
It was really cool. We went there for the first time with our in-laws. The girls had a blast. They have an outdoor like kids area that you can go on. They have a bocce ball outside, so they have picnic tables outside. You can go inside, and it's just really cool.
Becker could crush that.
Yeah,
they could do
would
the same thing.
Crush it.
Yes.
Yeah,
here in Brighton.
I agree with you.
Right, just a casual place for parents to go, sit back, hang out with friends, grab a couple of beers, grab some food. It's not like this whole going out to dinner, you know, like spiel. It's just like, let's sit back and just grab food, whatever. That's the thing I love about our brewery Becker is you can just grab food, go over there.
Yep.
Right.
But everything else, you know, like what are the kids going to do?
Right. That's killer.
That's really cool.
That's one. What about you, Mark?
I genuinely don't have one. I don't like, and it's not that everything in downtown meets my needs. I would have to give it like some thought. I don't have one not on the top of my head. Like rail yard sounds awesome. I mean, I would second that only because I don't have an opinion of my own.
I'm gonna veer off course and say what I would love is for overnight there to be a second and third story on every building in downtown Brighton. Period.
Ooh.
Because then we can get everything we want into the downtown. We just got to go up, ladies and gentlemen. So let's give ourselves a chance to do that, and then we can envision a future that has all of the things. We could have, I don't know, a vegan restaurant. Sorry.
That's a
shouldn't have said
horrible
that.
idea.
My bad.
Yeah,
But
that was
I
an
totally would
epic
love it.
fail.
It would be
It was
great.
an epic fail.
Forget what the coach says. It would be awesome. But nonetheless, we'll just wrap it up and say that's it. That's all. That's everything. If you're scared about what's happening in downtown Brighton, share this with your friends because then you can all be scared about all of the new stuff that's coming around the corner. And if you're excited about what's coming around the corner, you should share this episode with your friends as well, because no matter whether you're scared or happy, we're always going to be talking about what's going on in downtown Brighton. And what better place to come get your fix than What's Up Brighton? So until next time, this is Roger signing out.